My name is Dr. Deborah Giles. I'm a research biologist with Wild Orca. This is Eba the whale dog. She's trained to locate floating killer whale species so that they can be collected and analyzed for a whole host of information. Some of our most important findings to date are that 69% of the females that are getting pregnant are losing their calves because they don't have enough to eat. And these southern resident killer whales are fish eaters. They only eat fish, and they selectively choose Chinook salmon. And with the loss of Chinook salmon, we're losing our southern residents. There are only 73 individuals living in the wild right now. That's about half as many as we should have in this population. We know from the mammal-eating killer whales that occur in these same waters, in these same polluted, dirty waters, and these same loud and vessel-filled waters, that the mammal eaters are not impacted in the same way that the southern residents are, because they eat mammals and they've got a lot of different things on their menu. What I have learned studying killer whale feces and doing the work that I do now and have done since 2009, it's really become abundantly clear that salmon is the biggest concern for this population of whales. And so knowing that, once you know that, you can't unknow that. I didn't realize when I first started studying this population just how concerned I would become and how more education I would want on salmon. We owe it to the salmon and the whales to try and undo some of the harm that we've done in just a short amount of time. So as a killer whale researcher, a number of us, Cindy Hansen from Orca Network included, started inserting ourselves into the Pacific Fisheries Management Council meetings. So doing those sorts of things, inserting ourselves into the discussion where salmon are concerned, and really being there as the voice of the whales. I was obsessed with whales, and killer whales in particular, from a young age. By about 6, I was completely hooked on whales. On my 18th birthday, a number of girlfriends surprised me with a trip from Sacramento up to San Juan Island, and we ended up here at this very park, San Juan County Park, on my 18th birthday, and I got to watch the southern residents go back and forth right here, doing the West Side Shuffle every day for a week in July of that year. And seeing them in the wild, seeing them in their natural habitat and interacting with each other is just it's a life-changing experience, and it certainly changed mine. We people who know these whales think of them as family. We know them as individuals. We see them with their family. And when we watch them dying because they're not getting enough food to eat, it's an absolutely heartbreaking part of my job and part of my life, because my favorite things in the world to do are to sit right here sometimes and watch these whales go by, watch them forage with their family and play with their family. And so the loss of their food that they have co-evolved with over 18,000 years or more. And salmon, the more I know about them, the more I fall deeply in love with them and want to do everything that I can to try and recover them, not just for the whale's sake, but for the salmon's sake themselves. And every salmon run that is a recovering salmon run is a beautiful thing right there on the Elwha. Salmon are returning to that river in numbers that is shocking to scientists. And every time that happens, it makes me remember that we have a responsibility to do what we can to recover them.
What do you think, Eba? What do you think?